Hello, my name is Michelle Wiltshire, and I'm a homeschool transition coach. And in this video, I'd like to talk to you about creating your own high school courses. In our first video, we talked about the importance of understanding what it is that makes a high school education for you. What is important for your student to know? What do they need to experience? What are the values and character traits that you want them to have when they graduate from high school? These are important questions to answer. But once you've answered them, sometimes the answers don't fit neatly into the coursework that we traditionally see on a high school transcript, and that is perfectly okay. There's absolutely no reason why you should feel compelled to make your high school transcript or your high school graduation requirements look just like everybody else's. There's nothing wrong with having different types of courses and the things on there that you want. In order to do that, though, we have to have a way to sort of translate those courses into high school credit. How do we do that? Well, in public schools and in education in general, it is typical for the unit of measure that is used to be the Carnegie unit. A Carnegie unit is equal to 1 hour of instruction or 2 hours of practice. So the 2 hours of practice, if you have 2 hours of practice, you're only going to get 1 Carnegie unit, or 1 hour of practice is equal to a half a Carnegie unit. In order to illustrate this, let's use piano. Let's say your child is taking piano and you want to include that piano course on your high school transcript. In order to do that, you're going to count the number of hours that your student is receiving instruction during the year. So let's say your student goes to piano class once a week, and at the end of the year they've taken 10 hours of piano class from a piano instructor. This is 10 hours of instruction or 10 Carnegie units. In addition to that, when your student is at home and practicing the piano, they practice approximately 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week. At the end of the year, let's say that they have 200 hours of practice. This is equal to 100 Carnegie units, because remember, 1 Carnegie unit is 0.5, 1 hour of practice is 0.5 Carnegie units. So altogether, your student has achieved 110 Carnegie units of piano for the year. Now, typically, for a standard high school course, the number of units required is at least 120. 120 Carnegie units is equivalent to a standard high school course. We have 110, so we're very close to 120. We may want to require a little additional work from our student in order to get them to a full high school unit so we can put it on their transcript. Or we could just give them the amount of credit for 110 hours just by dividing it by 120. But that looks a little odd. Some people are not comfortable with that. It's perfectly okay to do. There's nothing wrong with it. But you may want to just make it 1 high school unit and have them do a little extra work to get there. Some schools, some high schools will use a higher level of Carnegie units as their standard for their courses, like 150 or even 180, although that is very high. These schools are usually college preparatory schools. They're considered to be, more of the elite high schools. Usually they're private schools. But you can also use the Carnegie unit system to determine whether or not your coursework is an honors level coursework. So if your student is doing 150 Carnegie units for a course, and that work is actually a higher level of work on average, you may want to consider making that course or designating that course as an honors course. So in addition to coursework like piano or sports, soccer, gymnastics, whatever your students are in, which translate fairly easily into high school credit, what about academic courses? What if you want your student, let's say you think American history is boring and you want to make it more, you don't want to do just a textbook course, you want to make it more fun for them. Well, instead of just choosing one curriculum for your American history course, you can actually develop your own American history course. So you can make a list of things that your student can do to earn credit or Carnegie units for American history. So it could involve reading some of a textbook and answering chapter questions. It could involve going to an American History Museum and writing a paper about the most interesting display they saw. It could be going to a Civil War reenactment. It could be watching a movie about American history. It could be interviewing someone who is a war veteran, American war veteran. The options are endless. The difficult part for you is that you're then going to have to translate those into Carnegie units. So let's just take, for instance, let's say going to the American History Museum. Let's say you spend 3 hours at the American History Museum, and you consider, after the student has done a lot of reading of some of the displays, has listened to some of the teachings that the curators have done, that your student has received 2 hours of instruction while at the museum. Well, that's 2 Carnegie units. What you have to do is you have to provide enough options for your student to get an entire high school credit. Or if you only want it to be half a high school credit, for a half a high school credit, which would be 60 Carnegie units. Or if you want it to be an honors, it would have to be a little bit more than that, right? They'd have to do a little bit higher level work as well. So you can, this is one way you can give your student options. You can say, okay, to receive 5 Carnegie units or 5 hours of credit toward your high school unit in American history, you can either go to an American History Museum and write a paper and then do the following, or you can do this other option. So you can give your students some choice as they go into high school as to how they can get credit for some of these courses. So in this way, you've created your courses as you needed to, but you can also use some standard courses. You can mix and match your courses. Everything doesn't have to be done the same way on your transcript. This is just one option that you have for creating a high school credit that can be applied to your high school graduation requirements. Thanks for listening. I hope this was helpful. If you'd like more information about this or other topics for homeschooling, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be providing a video on how to actually grade these courses in the near future. In addition to that, if you'd like to download a tool to help you create your own course and grade it too, you can do that on my website, www.homeschooltransitioncoach.com. The link is available in the description of this video. Thank you.